I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman who, like me, has been associated with Close Up for many, many years. Now, Joe Sohm has been called many things, some of which are repeatable here, even though we have a camera in the room. But, you know, a photographer is the thing that he's referred to the most, and that begins to tell the story, but it doesn't really tell the story. And story may be the operative word, because I think if you were trying to really distill this, Joe is a storyteller. The pictures are just part of the presentation, but there's a lot more going on than just the pictures. And if he's a storyteller, his story is the story of America. Joe is in love with America, not just in that sort of thin, patriotic type of presentation we see, you know, where you put mass-produced bumper stickers on your car and, you know, make claims. In a very deep way, in a historical way, in a way that looks at both the promise of America and the challenges of America and the accomplishments of America. And he's one of you. Joe began his career as an American history teacher and was in the classroom. And he had the itch to have a bigger class, I think, and had this photography hobby and turned that into a career. Joe covered all 50 states. Every iconic image of America and then some that you could think of has been seen through his viewfinder. Without even knowing it, you have seen hundreds of Joe Sohm images. He is, I can say this with confidence, Joe is the most accomplished photographer of American iconography in the history of photography in America. But his images are published over 10,000 times a year, websites, newspapers, periodicals, TV and film. When I interviewed Joe at the Newseum about a year ago, and I asked him how he describes himself, playing off this notion of, you know, what do you call him? He used the term photo historian. And I finally had a term after all these years of knowing Joe that made sense. And so when he never really left the classroom, as I suggested, he just changed to his students. So I'm going to hold this book up, and it takes 2 arms because it's a weighty tome. Here it is, Visions of America, Photographing Democracy. Essentially, Joe's mission has continued to evolve, and it went from sort of photographing the veneer, the iconic superficial images of America, to thinking about the idea, photographing democracy. And that's what he's attempted to do in this significant project. Along with the book, it's the latest iteration of Joe's classroom work, his telling of the story of America. So without further ado, allow me to introduce writer, producer, storyteller, photographer, Joe Sohm. Joseph?